global news update on top Accolade news. The headlines: Brazil's top court places former President Bolsonaro under house arrest. Texas governor orders arrest of absent Democrat over redistricting standoff. Pakistan arrests 120 opposition activists. India slammed Trump's tariff threat over Russian oil import as unjustified. We start today with a focus in politics. Brazil's top court places former President Bolsonaro under house arrest. Brazil's Supreme Court has ordered former President Jair Bolsonaro into house arrest after he defied legal restriction tied to his ongoing coup plot investigation. The 70-year-old, accused of orchestrating effort to overturn President Lula da Silva's 2022 election victory, violated terms by addressing a pro-Bolsonaro rally via phone. Justice Alejandro Guimarães, who issued the ruling, criticized Bolsonaro's blunder to disregard for the court's directive, citing even his son Flavo's attempt to delete the evidence. Bolsonaro is now barred from receiving visitors or using phones, while his lawyers argue that the words were harmless. The U.S. State Department has condemned the ruling, calling for accountability. Still in politics, Texas governor orders arrest of absent Democrat over redistricting standoff. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has ordered the arrest of over 50 Democratic lawmakers who fled the state to block a Republican-led redistricting plan aimed at boosting GOP control in Congress. The Democrat out-of-state exodus prevents a quorum in the Texas House, halting vote on maps backed by Donald Trump, who claimed the effort could flip 5 House seats. Abbott, citing abandonment of duty, issued civil warrants and threatened legal action, while California Governor Gavin Newsom warned of a retaliatory redistricting push. The standoff has sparked a heated national battle over gerrymandering, race, and political power. Moving on in politics, Pakistan arrests 120 opposition activists. Pakistani police arrested at least 120 activists from the Imran Khan's opposition party in overnight raids ahead of planned nationwide protests marking the second anniversary of his imprisonment. Most arrests occurred in Lahore, where Khan's PTI party about to stage its largest demonstration despite the crackdown. Authorities have ramped up security across Punjab province, while the government accuses PTI of stirring unrest under the guise of politics. Khan was ousted in 2022 and later jailed on corruption charges, maintained his innocence, and has called for peaceful resistance to restore democracy. Shifting focus to economy, India slammed Trump's tariff threat over Russian oil import as unjustified. India has sharply rejected U.S. President Donald Trump's threat to impose substantially high tariffs over its ongoing purchase of Russian oil, calling the move unjustified and unreasonable. In the Truth Social post, Trump accused India of profiting from reselling Russian oil amid the war in Ukraine, despite previously calling the country a friend. India's foreign ministry defended its trade stance, saying it began buying Russian oil to stabilize global markets when Western sanctions disrupted supplies. Experts says Indian oil imports are transparent and not controlled by the government. As tensions rise, Trump has also threatened Moscow with new tariffs unless a Ukraine ceasefire is reached by August 8th. You're watching the Global News Update on Top Accolade News. Do stay with us. Still to come. Thanks for staying with us. In international relations, UK to begin migrant returns to France. The UK government is set to begin returning small boat migrants to France within days following Tuesday's ratification of a new bilateral treaty with Paris. The one-in, one-out pilot deal agreed by Prime Minister Keir Starmer and French President Emmanuel Macron allows Britain to send undocumented migrants back to France in exchange for accepting an equal number of legitimate asylum seekers with family ties to the UK. While officials said only around 50 returns per week are expected initially, critics argue this case is too limited to deter illegal crossing. The UK insists the agreement is just one piece of its broader crackdown on people smuggling networks. Still in international relations, Australia charges Chinese woman with foreign interference. Australia's Foreign Minister Penny Wong says the country will not tolerate foreign surveillance after a Chinese woman was charged with reckless foreign interference for allegedly spying on a Canberra-based Buddhist group on behalf of a Chinese security agency. The woman, a permanent resident, was denied bail and will face up to 15 years in prison if convicted. This marks the first time a Chinese national has been charged under Australia's 2018 foreign interference laws. While the Chinese Foreign Ministry denied any wrongdoing, Wong emphasized Australia's firm stance against harassment and intimidation on its soil. Turning to entertainment, broadcasting legend James Whale dies at 74. Veteran British broadcaster James Whale has died at the age of 74 following a long battle with stage 4 kidney cancer. Renowned for his outspoken and often controversial style, Whale's 6-decade career spanned radio, television, and podcast with notable stints on top TV and radio stations. His wife, Nadine Lamont Brown, confirmed he passed away peacefully with a smile on his face. Tributes are poured in from across the media, hailing him as a trailblazer and one of Britain's all-time great talk show hosts. Whale remained on air until just weeks before his death. Now in sports. US tightened visa rules for transgender women competing in women's sports. The US Citizenship and Immigration Services has updated its visa policy to restrict eligibility for transgender women athletes seeking to compete in women's sports, marking a controversial shift under President Trump's administration. The policy cites biological advantages as grounds for rejection in visa categories like the O1A and EB green cards. Officials says the rules ensure fairness and safety in women's athletics, while critics argue it discriminates against a small vulnerable group. The move follows Trump's executive order signed earlier this year and mirrors similar restrictions passed by states and US sports bodies. That concludes our global news updates for today. Stay tuned for more global news and developments. Thanks for joining us. I am Ojoromi Okocha. Connect and engage with us on all our social media handles. Do have a wonderful day.